ReInsurance Business recently had the pleasure of being on the ground at the 2025 Bermuda Risk Summit, where we caught up with reinsurance and insurance executives to hear their perspectives on the vital questions facing the industry today. In this episode of ReInsurance Business TV, we ask, what do you see as the biggest opportunity facing the Bermuda reinsurance market going forward?
Well, legacy, of course. That's what we like to talk about. I mean, the legacy sector is growing. As we've talked about time and time again, we partner with PwC on a survey. And this year, in 2025 in particular, we reached $1 trillion in transactable legacy liabilities for the first time, which is a big milestone if you look at it. And it shows even that it's more relevant under the economic environment that we're working under. Everybody, capital management, strategic portfolio management companies need flexible solutions to really be able to carve out their capital and figure out what they need to do to respond to the consumer.
Yeah, like I've kind of mentioned throughout the theme of this interview is that, I think Bermuda is really at the forefront of the asset and liability matching because it's built into their capital regime. And I think other countries and other regulators are starting to take notice of that. There was a meeting today earlier where I believe the Utah NAIC commissioner was talking about they're establishing a working group to evaluate some of their RBC calculations because there's a lot newer risks that are out there that previously weren't there. And I think that stems from a lot of the private space that Bermuda is kind of specializing in to, again, squeeze out some more of that yield from these assets. And I think, it's kind of permeating not only to the US, but globally as well, as folks are starting to take a closer look at how they can also squeeze out some of that yield from a different regulatory framework. So I think Bermuda has the opportunity to really drive a lot of the change that's happening in the insurance space.
I think it's a very exciting time in the cyber reinsurance world, and I think Bermuda can become a leader and a local or rather global hub of the risk transfer innovation. So there are various ways to achieve that, but I feel like it's a three-pointer problem. Three-pointer way to achieve that. The first one being that expanding the alternative capital to allow for cyber and building the cyber ILS world. So it's no surprise to anyone that Bermuda is or has the strong foundation when it comes to alternative capital, and it has the right building blocks to expand it to cyber. So if Bermuda can lead the way in structuring cyber ILS deals, it does allow for growth of the reinsurance market and helps bring in that additional capital in. Of course, comprehending modeling is sort of the core of it, and that's where it's a big strategic focus for us at Moody's to help folks along that journey within the market. So that's the first piece. The second piece, I'd say, is just establishing itself as a global reinsurance hub for cyber. So it has the bare bones, it's very well positioned, and with their regulatory environment and the deep reinsurance expertise that it brings to the table, it has all the mechanics to be the global reinsurance hub for cyber, whether it's expanding those large reinsurance towers, where it's even attracting new entrants in the market who are focused on cyber, or working with governments and collaborating on a federal public backstop. That is the place where Bermuda can actually play a pivotal role in the cyber reinsurance market. And then the third piece, or the pillar, which is I think quite crucial, is the product innovation and market education. Cyber, as I was mentioning, is a complex peril, but there's so much room for innovation. And I think this is where Bermuda can help step that up and lead the way in understanding different products that could be built out of cyber. It's not just one product fits all. There are event level covers that we've seen emerge in the past 2 years, but there's other ways that we can think about the risk and come up with new products, but also give investors and other reinsurers a little bit of confidence in the risk itself to help bolster the reinsurance market.
Well, certainly Bermuda is poised to clear some of those coverage gaps that I spoke about, whether it be in cybersecurity or cyber risk, or even climate-related protection. Bermuda is well poised to cover that particular risk. We are also poised for an expanding market as well. And so we began with traditional PNC insurers. Now you see us evolving into the life insurance space, and we have life insurance companies that are attracted to our jurisdiction. We want to see an expansion of InsurTech. We want to see an expansion of not just climate risk, but also other financial verticals that can assist with climate-related initiatives worldwide and reduce overall and mitigating global climate risk. And so Bermuda is structured in a manner where we're able to seize and capitalize on the opportunities that exist.
Sure. So a lot of the conversations around the Bermuda Risk Summit this week has been around the heightened volatility that we're all experiencing around the world today, and the opportunity that presents to the market in terms of problem solving. And I think if we look to the start of 2025, there's been a lot of conversation around the California wildfires that were experienced in January. Tremendous events, tremendous impact on local lives, and really has shined a light on the importance of our industry, both insurance and reinsurance, that pays to the overall global economy in the context of that event. I think the opportunity for the reinsurance market related to that is understanding that we are in a far different place today than we were back in 2017 and 2018 when the previous large wildfires had happened. So the conversation around modeling the peril, pricing for the peril is a lot more mature. And so now I think we're in a spot where we can learn from the events, learn together, evolve together around conversations related to risk mitigation, related to accumulation management, and not necessarily create this to be a major pricing disruption or capacity disruption for the market. We understand the peril far better than we did 5 to 7 years ago. Reinsurance structures have evolved in a way, and you could see this through 2024, where we experienced a number of large hurricanes that did not cede a great deal of loss to the reinsurance market and did not ultimately result in significant market disruption. Some of that is related to just how those events played themselves out and where they ultimately made landfall. But a huge component of that is how reinsurance structures have evolved and required cedents to be more active in the sharing of that risk, if you will. So I think it's an opportunity for the market to unite and problem solve together and create the kind of stability, frankly, that the insurance industry needs, and I believe the state of California needs, to ultimately deliver a long-term viable, consistent product to consumers.
When I think of Bermuda, I think of innovation. And certainly when I worked for a reinsurer, very innovative, entrepreneurial. I think because of the proximity of senior leaders, in the marketplace, can actually collaborate, make decisions quite quickly. I think that they're very smart in terms of looking to drive data-driven decisions, and that drive significant outcomes. And I believe if they embrace that true digital world, I was previously talking about, I think there's an opportunity to, continue that sort of dominance as a reinsurance, marketplace of choice. And I think there's also, a real opportunity to drive those operational efficiencies throughout. But obviously, Bermuda is pretty much renowned for providing new innovative insurance solutions for emerging risks in the world, and certainly there's an interesting world dynamic at the moment, and lots of emerging risks that need new solutions for, and the opportunity to provide alternative capital into the marketplace as well. So I think, again, anchoring that to a digital world, I think they can offer those innovative products and solutions out to a global marketplace to maintain its position that it has today.